The land now called America was once a tapestry of diverse indigenous cultures, each contributing to a rich and varied history that spanned thousands of years. Tribes thrived across the continent, each with their own languages, traditions, and stories. From the Iroquois in the northeast to the Navajo in the southwest, these communities developed sophisticated societies with deep connections to the land. The arrival of European explorers in the late 15th and 16th centuries forever altered this land. These explorers, driven by the promise of new territories and wealth, began a period of exploration and conquest that would reshape the continent. Driven by dreams of gold, land, and religious freedom, these newcomers established colonies along the eastern coast. They brought with them new technologies, agricultural practices, and a different way of life that would soon clash with the indigenous populations. This period marked the beginning of a complex and often tragic clash of cultures. The interactions between Native Americans and European settlers were a mix of cooperation and conflict, trade and warfare, leading to profound changes for both sides. Colonists brought new ways of life, agriculture and governance, carving out settlements. They introduced crops like wheat and barley, built towns and roads, and established systems of government that would lay the foundation for the future United States. However, these early colonies faced internal struggles, foreshadowing the revolutionary spirit that would ignite the fight for independence. Disputes over land, resources, and governance created tensions that simmered beneath the surface. As the colonies grew, so did their dependence on enslaved African labor, a dark chapter in American history. The transatlantic slave trade brought millions of Africans to American shores, where they were forced into brutal conditions and labor. This period of early American history is a complex tapestry of exploration, conquest, cultural exchange, and the tragic consequences of colonialism. It set the stage for the birth of a new nation, but also left a legacy of conflict and inequality that would shape the future of America. By the mid-18th century, discontent had taken root in the American colonies. Years of British rule, marked by increasing taxation without representation, fueled rebellion. The cry of "no taxation without representation" echoed through the streets. This tension culminated in the American Revolution. In 1776, the Continental Congress issued the Declaration of Independence, asserting the colonies' right to break free from British rule. The Revolutionary War, though fraught with hardship, ultimately secured independence. Following victory, the newly formed United States faced the task of establishing a government. The Constitution, ratified in 1788, established a federal system with a balance of power and guaranteed fundamental rights through the Bill of Rights. The issue of slavery led to the cataclysmic division of the United States. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, a staunch opponent of slavery, was the tipping point. 11 southern states seceded, forming the Confederate States of America. The Civil War, the bloodiest conflict in American history, erupted in 1861. For 4 years the nation was consumed by war, leaving an indelible mark on the American psyche. In 1865 the Confederacy surrendered, marking the end of slavery. The Reconstruction era saw the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments abolishing slavery, granting citizenship, and guaranteeing voting rights. The late 19th century witnessed unprecedented industrial growth in the United States. This period marked a significant transformation in the nation's economic landscape, driven by technological advancements and a surge in manufacturing capabilities. The Industrial Revolution transformed the nation into an economic powerhouse. Factories and industries began to dominate the urban landscape, changing the way people lived and worked. Factories sprang up, fueled by new inventions and a growing workforce. Innovations like the telephone, the light bulb, and the automobile revolutionized industries and everyday life, making production faster and more efficient. Cities swelled with people seeking work, leading to urbanization. The promise of jobs in factories drew thousands from rural areas and even from abroad, creating bustling urban centers. New technologies revolutionized communication, transportation, and daily life. The telegraph and telephone connected people over long distances, while automobiles changed the way people traveled, making the world feel smaller and more connected. This era saw the rise of big business and powerful industrialists. Figures like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller amassed great wealth and influence, shaping the economic landscape of the nation. However, rapid industrialization led to growing disparities between the rich and the poor. Many workers faced harsh conditions, long hours, and low wages while living in overcrowded and unsanitary tenements. Labor unions emerged, fighting for better wages and working conditions. These organizations became a powerful force, advocating for the rights of workers and pushing for significant labor reforms. The Progressive Era brought social and political reforms, addressing the ills of industrial society. Reformers sought to tackle issues like corruption, poor working conditions, and the lack of political representation for the working class. Progressive reformers fought for causes like women's suffrage and child labor laws, paving the way for a more just society. Their efforts led to significant changes, ensuring better protections and rights for future generations. The 20th century saw the United States emerge as a global power. World War I initially saw the United States maintain neutrality. However, the sinking of the Lusitania and Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare shifted public opinion. In 1917, the United States entered the war on the side of the Allied powers. Following World War I, the United States retreated into isolationism. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 thrust the United States into World War II. The war effort mobilized the nation, transforming the economy and accelerating social changes. The aftermath of World War II ushered in the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension that would shape the latter half of the 20th century. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers with vastly different ideologies: capitalism versus communism, democracy versus authoritarianism. This ideological divide fueled a decades-long rivalry, manifesting in various forms of competition and conflict. The Cold War was marked by proxy wars, espionage, and the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation, creating a constant state of global tension. The United States engaged in a global chess match, vying for influence worldwide, from Latin America to Southeast Asia, each move calculated to counter Soviet advances. The Cold War finally ended in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union, a moment that signaled the end of an era and the beginning of a new geopolitical landscape. The post-Cold War era presented new challenges and opportunities, as nations navigated the uncharted waters of a unipolar world dominated by the United States. The rise of globalization and technological advancements created a more interconnected world, where information and commerce flowed across borders with unprecedented ease. The United States continues to play a leading role in global affairs, grappling with domestic issues like economic inequality and political polarization, while also addressing international challenges such as climate change and cybersecurity. The story of America is marked by both triumphs and tragedies, progress and setbacks. From its beginnings as colonies to its emergence as a global superpower, the United States has been shaped by countless individuals. Its history is a testament to the power of ideas and the resilience of the human spirit. As we reflect on American history, we are reminded that the nation's story is still being written. The challenges facing the United States in the 21st century are significant, but so are the opportunities. The journey continues.